Hello dear friends, this is Maria Kay with another cooking segment, and I hope I find you all healthy, safe, and reasonably sane this evening. I know this has been a very tough week for all of you. So I decided to make one of my favorite meals because for me it is associated with the beach. I am going to make some scallops, and to go with it, some vegetables and some couscous, and we'll just see how it goes. So let's get started. We have quite a lineup of ingredients today. Of course, they're not all going to go together. So, of course, we have our scallops. I got this at Aldi. We have lemon juice. We have some organic mushrooms. We have some couscous. And I am not actually using olive oil today to cook. I'm using butter. And I will tell you why in a second. We have some tomatoes, a bell pepper, a cucumber, some spring onions, some garlic, and some white wine. Let's see, this time it is Chablis. Why am I not using olive oil? Generally, olive oil is considered to be healthier than butter. But sometimes I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of health value, just a little bit. I promise it's going to be just a little bit of a sacrifice in favor of the quality of the meal. The butter and scallops thing actually comes from a fishmonger. Some time ago, my husband and I were at Oak Island, and of course it's a shame to be at one of the coastal islands of North Carolina and not get any seafood from a fishmonger. There was a good one there that we have visited before. And so we went over there and got some scallops and some shrimp. And she asked us how we were going to cook it. And I told her I was going to toss them with some garlic, and she kept nodding. And then I said, in olive oil. And she's like, no, don't use olive oil. You need butter. And we were like, we didn't bring any butter with us. She's like, that's okay. And she actually gave us half a stick of butter just so that we could cook the scallops properly. So I just can't violate what she told me. She's a real fishmonger. She's been dealing with seafood all her life. A magnificent cook within her own right. So I just have to follow what she taught me. So we are using butter today. We begin with slicing and dicing. Well, this is not a very complicated meal. It is a very quick one because it involves things that cook fairly fast, couscous and scallops. And both of them will need some attention through the course of the cooking. So I want to do my prep a little bit in advance. So this aside, I'm not throwing the greens away. The whites have their purpose, the greens have their own separate purpose. So I'm just going to prep my stuff now so I wouldn't have to worry about it later. For the scallops, this is something that I've learned again from HelloFresh, and you will hear me mention HelloFresh quite a lot, and that is using green onions or spring onions and using the whites and greens separately. I think it's a wonderful idea. I have used this trick so many times by now. So as you have seen, I just went ahead and pre-cut my my spring onions and used just the whites. And like I said, I set aside the greens. They're not going to be lost. So we're okay here. Just, basic sloppy slicing for the bell pepper. I'm not looking for this to be too thin. I want the flavor to come through. I want it to be mixed with the flavor of the scallops and the garlic. So,
Oh, this is good.
Of course I have to taste it. This is good bell pepper. And let's see. And I'm gonna do some, so I'm gonna cut my mushrooms, I'm gonna cut my cherry tomatoes in half, and those I'm gonna make a little vegetable salad, and that's what my green onion greens are gonna be for. They will go into this, and that's what the cucumber is gonna be for. So we'll just finish cutting this up and keep on going. All right, so the slicing and dicing is done. The salad is essentially done. It's just not seasoned yet. And that's the cucumbers, actually a little bit of the bell peppers, the tomatoes, and the mushrooms. The whites from the spring onions are gonna go in with couscous, as will the mushrooms, and I'll show you that in a minute. And of course, the bell peppers and garlic are gonna go in with the scallops. And my greens, some of them are gonna go as a sprinkling on top of the salad, and some of them are gonna go to sprinkle on top of couscous. So that's what we're gonna do. And I already have the water for couscous prepped, so I'll kick it in just at the right moment. Let's keep going. So I am using my big pan today. Some of you will find it familiar. This is the same pan I use to make onion jam. And the reason for that is because I want some room. I want some room to stir things up and all that. So I just want to have some space to work with. So this is what I'm using. So we're going to go ahead and heat it up on high medium. Throw in some butter. Wait for it to melt. And oh, love garlic. Who doesn't love the smell of garlic? Seriously. That's like one of the most wonderful substances ever. So while my butter is melting, I'm going to turn on the water under my couscous. And for this particular package of couscous, we're using 1 3/4 cup of water. Actually, no, I'm doing it wrong. I was going to show you a different way to do this. No, we're going to pour out the water. That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay, this is what happens sometimes. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is kind of a continuation of the trick I learned from HelloFresh. And that is to pre-cook something like onion whites and mushrooms in the pan where you're going to be cooking couscous first, and then add the water and then add the couscous. So we're going to be doing that. So our butter, meanwhile, is melted. So let me take care of the garlic here. And I'm adding a healthy spoonful here. And then I'm going to turn this down a little, okay? And we're going to get working on the stuff that goes in with the couscous. We have added a drizzle of olive oil into the pan where couscous will be cooked. And once it was heated up, added the whites from our spring onions and the chopped mushrooms. And so once those become reasonably cooked, then we're going to go ahead and add the water and bring it to a boil and then add the couscous. Meanwhile, in our big pan, we have garlic and our beautiful, colorful bell peppers. Our mushrooms and onions were ready, so we have added some water to this, so our 1 3/4 cup water. And so now we have a kind of a broth, and once it boils, we'll be able to add couscous. As you know, all you need to do is add couscous to boiling water, turn it off, cover it up, and just let it sit for a few minutes. While we wait for the water to boil, I have added my scallops to the pan with the bell peppers and garlic. And they're starting to get nice and kind of a little bit scorched, but not quite yet. They're definitely not ready. So just keep mixing them. Don't let them burn. And I think for seasoning, I am going to add one of my absolute favorites, and that is Tony Kasher's Creole seasoning. I discovered Tony's something like, I don't know, 20 years ago, and absolutely fell in love. I love the seasonings. Use his Creole seasoning and spice and herbs all the time. So I think that's what we're going to use for the scallops today. While our couscous is percolating, we are going to add a splash of lemon juice, just a splash. Give it a good stir. And half a cup of wine. And just leave it to its own means to make a reduction. While I'm waiting for the couscous and the scallops to finish cooking, I finished my salad. I mixed it up, added some olive oil and balsamic vinegar, sprinkled it with my green spring onions, leaving some for couscous, and finished it with the white wine based finishing salt. My couscous is ready, my scallops are almost ready, and it is time to start plating. So let's get to it. I served the couscous first, then the scallops, then topped the couscous and the scallops with the sauce that I cooked the scallops in. A word on the sauce, I tasted it and found out it was running a little bit tart. So before finishing it up, I added a tiny little bit of sugar to it and a little bit of garlic juice, and that fixed the problem. And of course, we topped it with the green portions of the spring onions that were left over from the salad, and left plenty of room on the plate for the salad. And that's pretty much it. The entire preparation process took about, I want to say, half an hour. So it's not really that complicated. A lot of people are afraid to cook seafood. It's not that bad. When in doubt, turn down the heat, reduce the salt, and it'll be just fine. Remember to taste along the way. I hope you enjoyed this segment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.